Liesel Jumps In. In the springtime on the island of New Florida, the trains are really useful on the track while they pull freight cars, coaches, and gender products of where they need to go, and it doesn't matter what's inside, because that's why gender vehicles are really useful indeed, because they're really useful with what they need to do and what gender operators plan out, which makes them really useful indeed. A women train is a railroad vehicle too. It is authorized to special people called gender employees who make genders that are non-binary. They're called trinary and multinary genders, a new word I made up. The MBTA commuter rail is a special locomotive that works in New England with special coaches, which are state-supported, called MBTA commuter rail, and that's why it's really useful indeed. Amtrak is a long-distance passenger train in the United States, going to 9 cities in Canada and more in the United States. You guessed that right. And Amtrak is a very important rail line that has a special network in the whole country of United States, and this is why trains like this can pull passengers, freight, and gender products of where they need to go to be really useful indeed of whatever stuff needs to be delivered. That's why women trains on the rails are really happy with what they have to deliver. That's not called non-binary, it's called trinary. CSX is a special rail service too. It hauls freight cars to the Midwest, which can be transported to BNSF or Union Pacific, and they can take them as far as they need to go to be really useful of what they need to do indeed. Freight car axles have bearing boxes that help protect the temperature of the rails, just because it has special hot box detectors which can tell which the axles can run hot sometimes and can cause a derailment or start a fire, like what happened in East Palestine, Ohio recently when a Norfolk Southern train derailed at 8:55 p.m. late at night. But hopefully that won't happen again, because the trains are right on schedule and are being really useful indeed of where they need to go. And this is why trains on the tracks can haul anything they want to be really useful indeed. The engines on the island of New Florida are really useful too. They can single head or double head, or multiple engines can pull a train, because this is what makes money more efficient on the islands the trains live on to be really useful indeed. One day, Becky was shunting empty hopper cars into a siding. She saw a new engine. "Are you Liesel?" asked Becky. "Why, yes I am," Liesel said. "I'm working with Deschler today." "Exactly right, Liesel, you guessed it," said Mr. Cakester. "I want you and Deschler to pull a train of toxic waste to the island of Sodor today." "That sounds like a good job, sir," Liesel said. And she steamed off to the yard, and Deschler was shunted over to the cars, and they steamed onto the main line. "Here we go," Liesel said. "Women engines coming through." And then they climbed up a steep grade. It was so steep, the engines felt the weight in their cars. "We should do it soon," Deschler said. And the freight cars went slower and slower. On! Faster, faster!" laughed the troublesome trucks. Then there was trouble. Liesel and Deschler started to go really fast. "Oh, goodness us!" cried Liesel. "We're out of control!" And they steamed down the line out of control with all the toxic waste behind. "We might have a crash!" wailed Deschler. Then there was trouble. A tank truck was stuck on the line filled with gasoline. And it was very toxic, and the truck driver turned on the hazard lights and heard Liesel's whistle. And then her and Deschler were fast approaching. "We should stop!" cried Liesel. Her driver applied the brakes, but they were too late. "We derailed after hitting a truck!" cried Liesel after bouncing on the ties. "It's catching fire!" "Goodness us! Help!" they cried. "Today!" yelled the freight cars. "We want this today!" And the freight cars flipped over on their side, and they went faster and faster, and fire raged and raged. And the freight cars twirled around, and the X's got clumped together, and the train started to derail. And it turned like an inferno, like underworld fire. And it rampaged and rampaged. And the freight cars derailed and derailed. And at last the fire train came, and everything came to a stop. After the fire was out, Liesel was worried. "I'm sorry, truck driver," said Liesel. "We didn't have time to stop." "Don't worry," said the truck driver. "You just bounced on the cross ties a little bit." Before long, Juliet came to the rescue, and she pulled Liesel and Deschler to safety. Over in the rail yard, Juliet told Deschler and Liesel all about her day. "Thank you for helping us, Juliet," Liesel said. "You're most welcome, you two," said Juliet. "I'm always good at helping the other engines." And she steamed off back to Notham's sheds.